Welcome to the Allground pod. Welcome to the Allground pod.
Your heart's just not in it, man.
I'm here with my co-host, Laird.
We're going to call it Laird-ish.
Laird-ish. He's just kind of chilling right now.
Kind of a shell of a man.
Yeah. He's not feeling well, so he's not going to talk that much. Unless you wanted to say something.
No?
No,
Okay.
I guess, yeah. I guess he's good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, our special always guest.
I've always been described as special.
I almost said your name. That was really bad. Ty. Ty is in the building. Okay, guys.
Okay.
All right, welcome to the Allground pod. This one's going to be a little different. I mean, we're going to keep it somewhat short and simple, but really I just want to talk about a couple things that are going on at Allground, and then also sort of break down some of the matches that we've got this weekend. It is competition week here at Allground. People are putting their finishing touches, on the end of camp, I guess, just tapering off. It's been, I don't know, a couple months of hard work. I feel like we've had that date on the board for a while now, would you say?
Yeah. It's been looming for a while.
Yeah. So kind of had a good idea of who was going to compete in the beginning, who was going to write their names down. But we had some surprising, competitors.
Any last-minute entries?
Last-minute entries? Well, a couple cool ones are Gabe and Kenny, which are our youngest, athletes in the crew. Two 16-year-olds competing. We've been trying to get Gabe to compete for a minute now, but he had his green belt and it was hard for him to find some matches in the regional scene. But now he's got his blue belt. He's 16. He's registered in the teen division and also in the adult division. So he's going all in. And
I think he'll do really well.
I think he'll do really well. So let's start here. We'll just go down the list. We've got Kenny. Kenny's our 16-year-old. He's got a pretty good wrestling background, and obviously he's taken to jiu-jitsu really well. I know he did a little bit of it before, but his technique is improving a lot.
Let me interrupt just real quick. So if you are listening and you're like, oh, they're just talking about the people that are competing, I'm going to tune out because you're not competing, keep in mind that he's going to go over strengths and weaknesses of each competitor. And so, this could play right into your hand for open mat on Saturdays if Elias exposes the weaknesses of somebody that you've consistently been beaten by.
What I'm trying to do is really just expose the weaknesses of our students.
That's right.
In order to get them harder matches so that they can be better athletes.
That's right. It's all about humiliation and degradation.
And really, if you're thinking about not listening to this podcast, please keep listening, Mom, and Ruby, and Parker. Please.
The
Actually, I know
people,
Chunks is listening as well.
Oh, fair enough.
There you
go. We can't afford to lose any listeners.
All right, listen, we're going to make it really exciting. We're breaking it down as if everybody knows. Okay, who doesn't know Kenny? I mean, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
This young athlete just comes in, storms through, beats the crap out of most adults. Not really, but he's doing really well.
Yeah. I think he choked me out like 3 times the other day.
There you go. Okay, so now you guys know Ty is getting choked out by 16-year-olds. If you're wondering what kind of white belt.
There's so many jokes there that I don't feel like they're appropriate for a family-friendly podcast. Nope. And I'm just going to not say anything.
This is not good.
Yeah.
We're off to a bad start. All right, so here's the thing. I think the keys to victory here, and I'm going to go with Kenny, but I think I want him to stay on top. I want him to get to a shot. He's got really good balance. He's got great base. I think he can just buzzsaw through people's guards, and use his athleticism that he's already got going for him. I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't overcomplicate the strategy, as I wouldn't with a lot of our competitors. And a big part of breaking this down is just helping me as a coach. And just talking about strategy. So that's kind of another reason I wanted to do this, is because each person, we're going to be able to think of, different strategies and sort of break those down, whether you're interested in jiu-jitsu or not, or maybe you're looking to get into it. This is an opportunity to learn about, how to win and what you need to be thinking about in terms of the game, the art that is jiu-jitsu, the game of competition, really. So yeah, I think Kenny utilizing his wrestling, utilizing some of that hand fighting and just getting heavy on people, taking them down, scoring the points. I think that he'll be able to find an opportunity to submit people if he just focuses on that position. But I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, my experience with wrestlers, especially ones that fresh out of high school or still in high school, that are solid wrestlers, man, their takedown game is usually much better than the average guy that just came in and just started jiu-jitsu as a hobby like me. I never wrestled, so
yeah,
you play to your strengths. In competition, absolutely play to your strengths.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because Laird and I obviously teach a lot of wrestling, but what they do is that it's those little micro adjustments, those little movements that are hard to teach. And we've talked about this before in terms of what I'm teaching, but I'm doing things even when I'm teaching that I don't even realize I'm doing.
Right.
And I've tried to make a conscious effort to think about that. So every time I move when I'm teaching, I think, oh, what did I just do there? I should probably say something.
Yeah.
So every time I'm moving, I feel like my teaching style is slightly changing a little bit. Because of what you said.
Yeah.
So it feels like I'm working through a problem as much as I'm teaching it. I'm working through what I'm doing, as well as just showing the main components of the technique.
Right.
But it's been really cool. I kind of like it. It feels authentic. It feels just honest, and it gives us an opportunity to kind of break things down together, because I'm thinking about, what am I doing here? What are these little things, little adjustments that I'm doing?
Yeah.
But anyways, let's move on. We've got Gabe. Gabe is our young blue belt. What a force on the mats he is. He's kind of an asshole on the mats, I hear.
He's always cool with me. He talks a lot.
Yeah, no,
he's not talking smack. He's
I hope he's listening to this.
Yeah, I hope so. What a little jerk.
Yeah, no, he's a dick. No, I think someone told me, I can't remember, but they were saying that Gabe just talks during the matches.
Yeah,
and every once in a while he'll
Natasha
say
said
something
that.
to me, but mostly he's just getting beat up, because I got to humble him.
Yeah,
I got to humble him because he's beating up other people in here a lot.
Yeah.
So
he talks about what are you doing later today? In the middle of a roll, you're like, what are you? But Natasha was the one that told me that he talks a lot, and she said that she suspects he's just trying to distract you. So you're thinking about what you're doing later, and then he gets a cross collar choke or something.
Yeah, mental warfare. I like it.
He's sneaky.
Yeah, he is sneaky. He's ahead of the game. So let's talk about mental warfare a little bit. Ty, what do you think about mental warfare? If you were going to compete in jiu-jitsu, would you want to employ some sort of mental warfare against your opponent? Would you stalk them? Would you watch them? Would you sneak up to their house?
I can see you through my binoculars from my van out in front of your house. No, I don't know. There's a fine line, where gamesmanship it's powerful. Yeah. I think it's more important to be aware of how other people might use gamesmanship against you, so that you kind of, aren't going to be a victim to it.
Yeah.
That having been said, I think a little bit of fun gamesmanship is fine. The best competitors ever, like the Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was just a notorious trash talker, you know, would just say things and get in people's heads. And, that's part of the game, Now, I think there's a line between that and being dirty, where you're, putting your elbow in people's eyes and, just dirty stuff that's just not cool.
Yeah.
But just saying a little stuff, as we know, Laird, yeah, that's right, Laird. Yeah. You like to trash talk a little bit. You told Papa Giorgio that he was getting tired, and then that set off a whole crap storm.
Yeah. Yeah. So. This guy's definitely a trash talker.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about that, Laird?
Oh, finally, nothing. That's weird. Normally, he's talking all kinds of trash.
Yeah, he must really not be feeling well.
Yeah,
that's okay. We'll keep talking for you, you dumb piece of shit.
Guy's so stoic today.
Yeah, God, I'm trying to get underneath his skin, but it's just not happening.
I do remember though at the first tournament, the Grappling Industries tournament, when you said, don't be nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to be, again, there's that line, like how not nice should you be? Is it to the point where you're just being a total a-hole where, you know, you're dirty? No, don't do that. But be aggressive.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
being too nice and, oh, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You know, you're like, no, like get in there and be aggressive right away. Try to snap them down. Like you know, like show them that you're not going to be nice to them.
Yeah, exactly. Get your hands on them right away and set the tone. We talked about that a lot, just setting the tone. Yeah, I mean, it's a competition, and the whole point of competition is to win.
Right.
I think that if you're thinking about being nice, if you're thinking about, you know, turning it into just a sparring match or something, it's not going to serve you well in the long run. I mean, you need to have that switch that's like, I'm here to win. I'm here to win, you know, and that means you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do whatever it takes not to lose.
And I think you'd have really great sportsmanship while doing that.
Yeah, I think sportsmanship is one thing, you know. Having that after and even before, I think that there's something really admirable about being calm and treating your opponent with respect in regards to, you know, how you treat them before and after the match. But in that match, it's kill or be killed.
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And I don't want to freak people out, you know, or some of our competitors, but just go out and you're fighting with.
It's combat.
Yeah, it's combat. You fight with your whole heart, and hopefully you prevail. And if not, it's all good. I mean, really, all it is about, especially with competition, it's about just giving it your all, leaving it all out there on the line, and then you don't have any regrets. You go out there and you do everything you can to win, and if you fall short, you did everything you can.
So what should Gabe focus on then?
Yeah. So, you know, speaking of, you know, like having that lack of respect during the match, I think that Gabe just needs to remain stoic as he already is. I think he just needs to be ice cold. Get his grips right off the bat. He's really comfortable in the fight. He's really comfortable in the scrambles. Like, he doesn't get flustered, which I really like. When I'm rolling with him, when I see him rolling with others, it doesn't even seem like his face changes, you know? Like, the muscles in his face don't, like, hardly move.
Yeah, he's very calm.
He's very calm, and I think that that's going to be a strength while other competitors are watching him. Like, if they're getting ready for him in the next round, I think they're going to be, you know, a little intimidated at how cool, calm, and collected Gabe really is. And I would say that's the key to his victories here. Just staying cool, calm, and collected, and relying on the technique. His wrestling has come so far since he's been here, so he's got that to rely on. I don't even think he needs to. I think he can pull guard. I think he can work his sweeps. If he wants to stay on top, I think he can stay on top. But I would say his keys to victory here, especially if he's a little nervous, is just to stay cool, calm, and collected as he always is.
Yeah.
And listen to his coaches. I think this will be our first time coaching him in a tournament setting. We've coached him here in the competition class, but so we don't know exactly how he's going to respond, but I think he's going to respond really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
we believe in you, Gabe.
Yeah, we believe in you, man. And yeah, we'll just from the get-go, we'll shake hands, and then immediately get on our offense. Start flustering our opponent, and just listen. You know, listen for our cues, because Gabe already has such great body awareness. You know, we were talking about those little micro adjustments that people do when they've been doing it a long time. Gabe already has all of that. So I think just giving him an objective point of view, you know, from the outside, maybe seeing a grip that he doesn't quite see, will help him a lot. Because I think that he's going to have all the natural ability to win every match. I think that he just needs to listen to us and maintain that level of calm and succeed in every match. I think it's going to be awesome.
Do you think he'll have an easier time in the adult or the youth division?
That's funny. I would say probably the adult division.
I would agree.
Yeah. If other, yeah, because if other kids are his age of blue belt, they've also been doing it a while. So
yeah.
So we'll see. But I mean, Gabe's training with a lot of tough guys here.
Yeah.
You know, and getting pushed constantly. So we'll see what happens. I think he's gonna shine.
I think so.
Yeah. And then going into our women's division, we've got two women competing, which is awesome. We were supposed to have 3, but unfortunately Claire got a back injury. But no worries. We still got Corinne and Savannah.
Nice.
Yeah. Pretty exciting to see both of these ladies competing. I mean, they show up and show out here at Allground and practice hard and have a lot of fight. They've got a lot of fight in them. And I think Corinne's key to victory here is just to do what she does and put a lot of pressure on her opponent. Like, really make her feel her explosiveness and athleticism while still remaining calm. I think that's something that we're continuing to work on with Corinne and is going to evolve, is she's going to be able to control a lot of that strength, explode when she needs to, retract when she needs to. I mean, really honing in on her ability to overpower, I think, a lot of the girls in her division and just at her weight because she is so strong. But yeah, honing in on that ability and not allowing it to be used against us.
Right.
We want to be in control of that strength. So I think keys to victory here for Corinne as well is just stay calm, get a really good warm up in, get rid of that some of that nervous energy before your first match, and focus on control. Focus on one thing at a time. Get your hands on them. Start snapping them down. If that doesn't work, let's look for a single leg.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's look for one thing at a time and then just focus on sort of moving up the positional hierarchy in jiu-jitsu. Take them down. Be in their guard. That's fine. Get to half guard. Then get to side control. Take the back. Submit them.
Yep.
And I think if she listens, she'll be able to execute that really well.
Yeah, she's a very studious person. I can't even imagine somebody being more athletic pound for pound than her in this competition. That would be shocking.
Would be.
She's one of the more athletic people, maybe in Reno.
Yeah,
she's very athletic. She's new to jiu-jitsu, but her athleticism is really, really high level. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Now, Savannah had some experience with combat before, right?
Yeah, she had a couple fights, I believe.
And they were like MMA fights, right?
Yeah,
striking.
no. Yeah, she's got a background in it. And she's really hard on herself sometimes, but when we put her in some of the competition rounds during the competition class last week, one thing I was really surprised with is just her level of composure. And I think whether she believes it or not, she's got that experience prior, and then she's putting her technique and her heart on the line out here when the whole room is watching her compete. And she had a really, really high level of composure.
That's great.
And that was awesome. And she was going against Corinne, and Corinne put her in some tough positions, tough situations. And Savannah stayed really calm. And when she would latch on to, an attack, she would stay really tight with it. And so, yeah, I think Savannah's keys to victory here are finding ways to slow the match down. I mean, this is really what I want everyone to do, is find ways to slow the match down, but having a strong base from the start. Whether our opponent pulls or they choose to stand with us, I want Savannah to be able to dominate the hand fighting, the head position, her underhooks, keeping her hands heavy on the opponent's head, and just focusing on base. Again, just slowing it down and thinking about one thing at a time. Let's just be heavy on our partner. Let's wear them down. In a 5-minute match, especially with white belts, you get tired so quickly because there's so much adrenaline. So the more we can simplify the match and execute with intention, I think that she'll have a lot of success. I think she'll surprise herself. I think if we can just keep it slow and focus on base more than anything, that if the opponent pulls, just focus on the base. Fluster your opponent by having a really, really solid base. You're not able to get swept. You're not able to get off balanced. Even if they're trying to off balance you, you're kind of surfing that wave.
Right.
I think that's going to be really helpful for Savannah. And then she'll be able to use her technique once her opponent is just kind of exhausting herself.
Yep.
To work through into a knee slice. I think she'll get to side control and then just maintain top position. Again, we're not going to hunt for anything.
Yeah.
We're just going to try to control the position. If she finds herself on bottom, we're going to work to get back to closed guard or a half guard and then just stabilize, you know. Find opportunities to close the distance and then capitalize on that. So I've seen she's got a really strong arm bar from closed guard. Mm-hmm. If we can get to a closed guard position, we can work sit-up sweeps. We can off balance and work into our arm bars. I think as long as she maintains that level of composure, even though she's going to be super nervous, and that's great, she can maintain that level of composure, listen to her coaches, and just focus one thing at a time. She's going to have a great time. She's going to have a great showing. And, you know, first of hopefully many competitions. Eventually she'll just be like, this is no big deal.
Yeah.
This is
old hat.
I'm just going in and competing and having a good time. And that's really what you want. You want a lot of your competitors to, there's always going to be nerves, but you want to get to that point where it's just a competition.
Yeah.
It's like you hold yourself to a high standard, champion standard, and you want to win. You're going to do what it takes to win. But at the end of the day, we get to compete.
Yeah.
It's a fun opportunity. It's a learning opportunity. We're all healthy and able enough to be able to even do this.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, honestly, looking at any competition, unless you are trying to make a livelihood out of it, you should probably look at your competition as your reward for putting in the training.
Yeah,
This is your chance to have a good time and just like test yourself. Just see how far you've made it. And you might not measure up to your own expectations, or you might exceed your own expectations. But regardless, you'll come back out of this and then say, wow, I need to work harder, or wow, what I did was far more effective than I thought it was. Who knows, you know? But it's exciting to see.
Yeah,
that's the joy of it.
It is. It is the joy of it. And, you know, before we continue, I want everyone to know, especially if the competitors are going to listen to this, the fact that you're even competing and stepping on the mats, you've already earned, you know, our respect. And we're very proud as coaches to see that you're even willing to do that, to be under the lights and go out there and put it on the line. It's scary. It's really nerve-wracking. And, you know, Laird and I have competed at a really high level. And there's always been nerves. There's always been anxiety. And there is no competition without anxiety. But it's the fact that you're just willing to step out there, you know, man in the arena.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, yeah, I've got a lot of faith in Corinne and Savannah. I think they're going to do awesome. But as long as they just go out there, have a good time, fight with their hearts, I'm super proud. Moving on. Okay, we've got another young guy on the squad, Jack. I'm actually really, really stoked that he's competing. This is awesome. Jack has a lot of wrestling experience as a youth, and just a super explosive, wildly athletic, very bendy guy.
Yeah, very flexible.
Yeah, this guy's flexible. We were doing the Bulgarian bag tosses overhead, and like we would toss him overhead as far as we could and then sprint to get him and then keep doing that after competition class. And he was straight up throwing it, and then his head would like touch the mat. He was like going into a wheel. Yeah, it was insane.
It's like a Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Act.
Yeah, this guy is athletic. Also, I mean, no surprise when you're that athletic and you've been, you know, doing sports and martial arts since you were a kid, but just picks things up so well.
Yeah,
and isn't afraid to try things on bottom. That's what I really love. I love when people come from a wrestling background, but they're so willing to engage in like guard and different types of guards, different types of sweeps, especially in the gi. We do a lot of gi training, and just to see someone with a wrestling background have an aptitude for that, the gi gripping sequences and off balancing sequences like Jack does is really impressive, really cool. And I think more than anything, I just want Jack to keep a high pace. He's going to be in a division where, you know, people naturally have stronger gas tanks he's competing at 135 or 135 to 145 or something. So yeah, people have better gas tanks. They'll be a little more athletic, but I think if Jack can create those angles, look for those opportunities to shoot, be on top, I'm not even worried about him being on bottom. I think he's absorbed, so much information and applies it really well already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I would love to just see him really fluster his opponent, just tap his head, feint a lot. I think one of Jack's keys to victory here is to feint a lot. I want to see him feint, and then set up his shots.
Yeah,
and I think that's really going to fluster his opponents. I think it's just going to zap their energy.
Yeah,
constantly reacting to feints. And then Jack has such great scramble ability. The only thing I would say is focus on a scramble just to the point where you can get back to control. Don't make it some crazy dogfight and leave your arm exposed or your leg exposed.
Right.
Scramble when you need to, but rely on your technique.
I love watching people that are so good at feinting that they can feint the shot and then get somebody to sprawl. Mm-hmm. And then the person's on their belly and they just jump on them.
Yeah.
That's so
awesome.
Cool to see.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's happening to me. Of course, I don't like that.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's horrible. I've seen that happen to you a bunch.
Yeah. Actually, I have nightmares about that.
Okay. We're getting into the heavy hitters here.
Oh, man.
Let's talk about our boy Parker.
Okay.
Yeah. This guy is 5-0, 6-0 in his competitive jiu-jitsu career thus far.
It's not a big career, but it's a successful one.
Yeah. Double gold already in the last tournament. I'm going to be honest. Parker's one of those guys where in other academies, he'd probably be considered a blue belt.
Mm-hmm.
But Laird and I obviously hold our students and the academy itself to a very, very high standard. So we're thinking about some of the best academies in the world, like AOJ, Atos. And these blue belts over there are absolute killers.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we would expect out of Parker and other people that are on their way to blue belt. So I think that this is just another opportunity for Parker to test his mettle, test his skills, improve as a martial artist, and, get closer and closer to what we would think that next level is for him. Mm-hmm. I obviously don't need to say much about his work ethic, but he shows up as much as he can and is one of the most consistent students, and that is why he had such success in his first tournament, his breakout performance, where he just pretty much dominated everyone, looked like a veteran, and that's just because he shows up. And Parker is also notoriously hard on himself, very, very hard on himself. Too much for, where he's at. But that's okay. I mean, he holds himself to a high standard in jiu-jitsu, and he recognizes that he can be really, really good at this sport.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. But it's a long journey, so definitely try to make it enjoyable. And don't put too much pressure on yourself. Hold yourself to a high standard, but don't put too much pressure on yourself.
And for reasons that are completely not personal and have nothing to do with me whatsoever, what would you say Parker's biggest weaknesses are?
Yeah.
Don't listen to this, Parker.
Parker, turn it off right now. Just do what Laird's doing. Laird? Anything?
God, what a chill guy.
This guy's hella chill.
Yeah.
This guy's he's not asleep. You're not asleep, right? No, he gave me a thumbs up, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So Parker's weaknesses, I mean, as a white belt, there's a lot of things that he needs to work on. I actually think that Parker isn't as confident in his wrestling as he should be.
Yeah.
I think that he has the ability to take people down, get to an outside single, get to a shot. But I think he's really comfortable with with playing guard and being on the ground or being on his back and fighting for sweeps from there, looking for opportunities.
I think he kind of didn't want to rely on his wrestling. I think he wanted to really lean into protecting his guard and playing on his back because that's not what he naturally felt good at because he does have a wrestling background.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, in competition, you're trying to win. So if wrestling is a strength, maybe lean into that a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I would say Parker's keys to victory here, because he's got a really good guard. It's hard to pass his guard because he's very flexible, but he uses his flexibility well. It's not just the fact that he's flexible, because I don't really appreciate those compliments in jiu-jitsu, like when people say, oh, he's so flexible, oh, he's so strong. Like, yeah, those are attributes that are helping him to some capacity, but he knows how to use his flexibility.
Yeah.
He knows how to use it in a way where he's not allowing himself to get hurt or someone to get past him.
Yeah.
And he understands where his body needs to be in space. And that's what's really cool. That's he's using that ability in an effective way, and in a way where it's technical. It's not just an attribute. He's actually using technique.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times when people say, oh, you're so strong or you're so flexible, what they're really saying is, if you weren't so flexible, I could beat you.
Yeah.
That's just sour grapes, man.
Yeah.
No, he is. He's very flexible, and I'll try to like smash pass, and I'll push his knees up by his ears, and I'll be like, you're way too comfortable right now. Most people would just like let me make the pass at this point, and he's like, nope.
Yeah.
He's super comfy right there,
He's
and he's not just flexible, but he's got strength throughout his flexible range.
Yeah.
And that's important. He doesn't just like fold over like an envelope, he actually can fight back even when in what most people would consider compromising positions. So
Yeah, he can. I would say keys to victory here are, when he gets to guard, focus on the grips. Focus on, like, know where your hands are. Get to those grips where you feel like they can't be broken, off balance, and then the moment you sweep your opponent, Parker, control those grips. Don't let them go right away, because those are those opportunities for those people to scramble and then get back to a neutral position, and then you worked too hard for no result.
Right.
So I really want to see Parker hang on to those grips for just a second and really make sure that he's gotten the full sweep, that he's swept his opponent and he's on top, and then he can start passing. I think sometimes, especially in some of his comp rounds here in competition class, he'll get to a really good position, like X guard, single leg X, and have a good off balancing series. But then he doesn't hang on to his grips as much as I want him to. Parker's also really good at, getting to his crab ride. And I think that's going to be a key to victory here. I think that he's able to get underneath people really well and get to the crab ride. And then same thing. When you get to that crab ride, focus on those grips, because they are going to be turning. They're like a bucking bronco. Yeah. So focus on locking down those grips, working to the back, and then solidifying that position. And I think he's going to do great. I think Parker already listens really well. I think if he can just slow the match down in the ways that he's good at and focus on those grips and not allowing people to scramble after he's off balanced really well, or after he's gotten to a crab ride position or exposed the back, that's going to be the opportunity for him to control those positions and eventually submit his opponents. So super proud of Parker. He's been putting in a lot of work and, training with me in the mornings as well sometimes, and going on runs and just putting in the extra work.
Yeah.
And
that's the difference maker.
That really is.
Especially at a white belt level. I mean, most people are like, oh, I'm only a white belt, so I'm just not going to work that hard. I mean, I think that's probably a really common sentiment among beginners. They're like, oh, there's not really high expectations, so why rise, And he definitely takes the attitude of a higher level competitor, even though, I mean, he may be competing at the white belt level, but he competes as if, he's competing for like a world championship almost,
Yeah.
He trains like that. That's great.
It is the difference maker.
It's like, what is it in Notre Dame when the football team walks out, they all slap the top of the door and it says train like a champ or play like a champion today,
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, I don't watch foosball.
I know. Are you playing that foosball?
Yeah, so holding himself to a high standard always, training like a champion.
So we just finished up going over Parker.
Yeah, nothing good to say about that guy. All right, let's get into it. Colton Brown.
Yeah, Colton.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? I haven't really seen him train for a while.
We got to come up with better hooks for these people, because for most of our listeners, they're just gonna be like, "Oh, who's that?" Colton Brown. I mean, can you believe this guy?
Amazing.
It's insane.
I see this guy. He's a great jiu-jitsu player, maybe the best ever.
Maybe the best jiu-jitsu player we've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of jiu-jitsu players. I mean, I've probably seen the most jiu-jitsu players.
And believe me, I know jiu-jitsu players.
All right, Colton. Okay. This guy comes in, beats Laird and I in spike ball. Still hate him for that. I'm coming for my revenge at some point. Or, maybe I'll just be on a team with him. If you can't beat him, join him.
That's right.
So
I think it's the better way to go.
Maybe I just plan on beating other people in spike ball with him by my side.
That's right.
So I think I'll do that instead. But just as he defeated Laird and I in spike ball, I imagine he will defeat many opponents in this upcoming tournament. And I think Colton's keys to victory here are his incredible ability to keep the fight going. If he's in danger, he does not allow himself to get scored on. And if he does, he's on the fight. He's on the fight immediately. He understands off-balancing really well for the limited experience that he has. He understands he's got great proprioception. He really understands where his body needs to be in space in order to be successful.
That's like a $1,000 word right there, bro.
Dude, you have $1,000?
Proprioception? Wow.
All right. Fork it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a man of many talents and of many skills. And jiu-jitsu is becoming one of those. His training has looked great. He's been shining in competition class and been shining in some of his competition rounds here in the gym. Colton is an athlete and knows how to prepare for a big event. And I think that not much advice is needed for Colton, but I think that he needs to just continue to capitalize on the incredible balance and base that he already has. If he focuses on tiring out his opponents by just keeping that pressure forward, being a force, an unstoppable force, and never allowing anyone to settle on him. His guard retention has looked great, so if he finds himself on the bottom, I'm not super worried about him getting his guard passed. But if he were to get his guard passed, I know that he has the ability to scramble and move and not accept, that position. So I see Colton really utilizing his arm bars, his triangles. I think that he's really been enjoying developing that part of his skill set.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looked awesome in the academy.
Well, going into the first tournament where he, won, he did really well, but he didn't have a lot of attacks.
No.
He just was real strong positionally, and he had a lot of tenacity. So his fundamentals were already coming along really, really well, but I think you guys said you just taught him how to armbar somebody like the day before or something.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And then he ends up winning the final match with an armbar.
Yeah.
So, but now he's delved a little bit deeper into his offense.
Yeah. In terms of skill acquisition or learning something and then the ability to utilize it almost immediately, him and Laird are very similar.
Really?
I mean, Laird, when he started actual folk style wrestling, would watch something on YouTube the day before or the day of and be like, I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
And then he would do it like almost textbook. So yeah, very, very similar in that regard. Colton absorbs things very well and implements really well. I'm really going to love to see his passing. If he wants to pull guard, that's the thing. You want to have a strategy in jiu-jitsu where, based off the opponent, we want to look for the shortest path to success, if you will, the path of least resistance. And if we feel like Colton can pull guard, sweep, or triangle someone from the bottom or lock up an armbar, we're just going to do that.
Yeah.
Ideally, I would love short matches and work our way to first place as quickly and efficiently as possible. Colton has all the skills to get that done, to get submissions quickly. And yeah, I think he listens really well. He adapts to situations really well. So I'm looking forward to watching him.
Yeah, I think sometimes you get people where you're cornering them and you're yelling things to them and they're just not hearing you. He listens really well, for sure.
Yeah, it really depends on the fight. I've been in those situations where I heard what my corner was saying and it was hard to implement. I think part of it is just being comfortable out there, just being very comfortable in the uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But it can be hard to implement. So
yeah,
that's also why we emphasize hard training in a lot of ways. I mean, people that are competing are training really hard and we're pushing their body to the limits, because when you can feel confident in your gas tank, especially in jiu-jitsu, it's way easier to listen to your coaches. It's way easier to implement those cues that we're screaming at you. But if you aren't ready, if you don't have that gas tank, it's going to be hard.
Yeah,
it's going to be really hard.
If you go in with a quarter of a tank, that's not good.
Yeah. So, but always coming back to the technique. I mean, we focus heavily on the technical application as well, being very strong in our positions, setting everything up before we even think about the submission, and of course, just making sure people are in great shape.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. We got Nick Milsner. Now, Nick is new to the academy, blue belt. We met him, I want to say over a year ago or something, and then him and his wife were traveling. They work remotely, and now he's here, and I couldn't be more stoked. They're both incredible people, and also Nick retains things so well, and he asks such good questions. And I think that's because he's paying such close attention. Yeah. And I really like that. I really like how his questions almost make me a better coach, because he's thinking about them so deeply, and then it forces me to think about them even deeper. Mm-hmm. And I really like that. I love that every time I teach a move or a transition, a technique, anything, he's drilling it almost exactly how I showed it, and that's awesome. And then we continue to iterate, and then he's adding on to it and making those adjustments immediately, and that's really awesome. And we've seen him here in the competition class a couple times now, and he brings a great pace. He's always in the fight. He relies on his technique. There's a lot that he's going to learn here with us at Allground, and he's just going to get better and better. But where he is right now, he has such a strong base and an affinity for learning and implementing very quickly, which is awesome. So I've got full faith that Nick is going to shine, and at the very least, I know he's going to bring the fight.
Yeah,
which is awesome. I mean, he could face someone really tough that maybe is technically better, but I'm not worried. I think that he's going to listen really well. I think his keys to victory here are to just listen to his coaches, focus on, again, slowing the match down, finding those grips, and almost insisting on playing on top. I think he's got a really good top game. I think he's got great balance. I think if we can keep the fight on top in terms of our offense, if we can stay on top and just work to pass, keep our knee slices heavy, our forward pressure, I think that he's going to slow these guys down, and then he can just melt them in side control, expose their arm or expose something, and get the submission. So slowing the match down, working to stay on top, I think he's going to do awesome.
Fantastic. Cool. I've only met him the one time, so super cool guy.
Yeah, I'm stoked to have him on the team. All right, Malik. Malik's coming back.
Nice.
Malik is back at it. For those who don't know, this guy is back with a vengeance.
From France. He's had enough crepes.
Yeah.
And gained weight, lost it again. Now he's ready to fight.
Yeah. No, he's been on it. mornings and evenings. This guy's twice a day. If he can do it, if he's not working, he's coming as much as he can and training as hard as possible. It's awesome. Malik said to me, I think he said something along the lines of when he signed up, because I wasn't sure if he was going to sign up for this. I know he doesn't really prefer to compete, but he does it to push himself, which I think is awesome. And he said, I got to make sure that I don't hate it or something. He said, I was like, I just got to make sure I don't hate it. So that's super cool. And just another element of him pushing himself and trying to become a better martial artist through competition and through showing up and training hard. So I think he's going to do great. I think he's made a lot of really awesome adjustments since his last competition. One, just because he's been so consistent. Two, because he's being a little more playful. Like, he's experimenting with techniques and not holding himself back a lot. And so he's developed a pretty strong leg attack game. He's transitioning his techniques together from guard really well. And he talked to me about like a flow chart. He was talking to me about how he's kind of creating these flow charts in his mind of one move to the next.
Right.
And that's really awesome because, of course, jiu-jitsu, when we're transitioning and we're doing all these things, it is one big flow chart, but he's thinking about very specific techniques, very specific maneuvers. So he's not just getting lost in this world of opportunity. He's staying very focused on, I get to X guard, then I move to single leg X, and then I off balance, and then I'm back to X guard. So he's taking a conservative approach here, and it's really paying off. I think it's showing in his technical ability. He seems tighter and stronger in these positions.
Yeah.
So I think, God, I don't know how many times I've said it. I said I think. Somebody
I think
count
you
that.
said I think
Somebody
a lot.
count this.
I think you get an Allground.
That's the problem. If I don't have Laird, then it's just me. I'm just saying I think. What about Laird? What do you think, huh?
Well, he doesn't think a lot.
He's not saying anything,
so stoic.
man.
He
It's
just
crazy.
sits there.
Laird has not moved from this chair, and we were gone for 2 or 3 hours.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
Impressive. I don't know what he's doing. I think it's some sort of mental training.
Yeah.
But it's pretty impressive.
Vow of silence.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. This is awesome. I support it, Laird.
So this morning I was talking to Monty about both Parker and Malik, and he said the last several times he's rolled with either of them, they just keep straight ankle locking him over and over and over. And I was like, well, I know that's an attack that they've wanted to really tighten up, because in the last competition, Malik had a guy in a straight ankle lock and he didn't finish it. The guy slipped out and it really bothered him.
Yeah.
And so he said since then, nobody slipped out. He said, except for, I can't remember, somebody slipped out, maybe it was Owen or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Somebody real wily.
If you're able to ankle lock Owen, you're good.
Yeah.
At leg attacks. That guy has ridiculously strong ligaments or just legs. I don't know. Hamstrings all the way down. It's insane. It hurts your arms to try and leg lock him. It's bad.
Oh, geez. Yeah. So anyway, point is Malik's his attack on the legs has definitely gotten better.
Yeah, I think he's just improving everywhere. And even in his wrestling, I see so much improvement. I think his key to victory, and I've talked to him about this a little bit, is just, going out there and being confident wherever the fight goes.
Yeah.
Not putting too much pressure on any particular area. If he wants to pull guard, pull guard. He's got his system down. If he wants to wrestle, he's got that. He's got those abilities. And also in scrambling, he can scramble up. And we've seen that in comp class. We've seen him scramble out of tough situations and end up on top and push the fight. So, I think it's going to be a better experience for him. And regardless, win or lose, I'm super proud of all the work that guy's putting in. And I think he's going to shine. I think it should be pretty awesome.
I think so. I think if he trusts himself, I don't think he gives himself enough credit. I think he's better than he thinks he is.
Yeah, I actually forgot. This is also a blue belt.
Yeah.
This is a blue belt. The last one was at white belt.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Sometimes you get promoted you have better showings at the next belt level. I mean, this happens in jiu-jitsu a lot. And I could see that from him. I could see him really rising. And even though he's in arguably a tougher division, I mean, he's been putting in the work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's gonna surprise a lot of guys. People are gonna be flustered by what he's bringing to the table. So let's go, Malik. All right, moving on. We've got Blake Murray. Balake Murray. Okay, this is awesome. Laird and I knew Blake when he was a kid. We wrestled together, Wildcats wrestling, and then high school wrestling. 1 year of high school wrestling before Laird and I moved out to the Bay Area. Blake is an incredible athlete and hated the gi so much, felt claustrophobic in it. Now he wears it with pride, and he looks great in it. And he is going to be a force. He is going to be a force. I mean, plenty of wrestling experience. Very, very athletic and very strong.
And I feel like he's just really intuitive.
He is, yeah.
He's intuitively good at this stuff.
Yeah. You know what he does really well, and I don't know if he knows this, is he has an ability to take away what you need in order to succeed. And I don't know if he's doing this on purpose, but when I'm rolling with him or when he's rolling with any of the upper belts, he has an ability to slow the match down because he's taking away what we need. He's just isolating grips, making it hard for us to just move in general. And that's really cool. I think the more he focuses on that, it's going to be an incredible ability. It's just something that he needs to continue to invest in.
Yeah.
Because as he learns more technique and just becomes a better jiu-jitsu practitioner overall, man, he is going to be such a force. And one thing I love is just seeing him so passionate about martial arts. Him and Claire, they both kind of got into Allground around the same time. I mean, started coming consistently around the same time. And dude, it's just been awesome. I mean, watching her progression for sure has been incredible. And he has just been showing up and getting better and taking it to a lot of the guys in the room and making it really difficult for them. It's awesome. I think he's finding that comfort in this new sport where he was so comfortable with wrestling, and then you put him into jiu-jitsu, and then you add the gi, and it can just be uncomfortable. There's a reason a lot of wrestlers just don't train in the gi. They just specifically do no gi. But now he's really finding comfort in it.
Yeah.
And looking awesome. So keys to victory here, I think, just double leg, put them on their back.
Yeah, the takedown game is definitely going to be a strength for him. Yeah. So if he just takes people down, like the only downside, I mean, if you're a coach for somebody else and you see him very, very strong at wrestling skills, takedown, you're probably going to tell your guy, you probably just want to pull guard on this guy. Don't try to fight him standing because he's probably going to get you.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? I think that Blake could take him down instantly. I think he could score.
They won't even have a chance.
I think he could score quickly because I'll have to double check, but I think you need to at least establish. I know it's in IBJJF, but I don't know about this tournament. But I think you need to at least establish a grip before you pull. Mm-hmm. Probably not, but whatever. I think at the moment they shake hands, Blake could change levels and just get the score right away.
Yeah,
which would be awesome. And Blake can be tricky also. He could make it look like he's going to pull and then boom, take the shot.
Yeah.
So
it's wily.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. I'm super stoked that he's competing. I think it's great that he's got this as a goal, and it's just the start. This is just the start for all of these people, but I'm really, really stoked that Blake's competing. I think he's going to do great. Okay. Moving on. We got Adam. Adam Two-Door.
Adam two doors
down.
Yeah.
And Two-Door is down.
Yeah.
He is down
with the sickness.
Yeah. Man, we got to get that button on the Roadcaster.
Yeah.
Why do we not have that? I mean, can you program that?
That's foolish of me to not have that.
Yeah,
I don't know what my
silly.
problem is.
You're fired. Yeah, Adam, this is awesome. So Adam actually wanted to compete a couple months ago, and I told him, you know what? Just wait. We're going to get ready for this competition all together. I want you to do it with us. I want you to have a full training camp. Because Adam's kind of a gamer. I think he would just go out there and do it anyways.
Yeah.
But I do want to give him that full training camp experience.
Yeah.
And man, he's been so consistent since, he was really busy around the holidays, and then come the new year, he's just been so consistent. He's been getting in better and better shape and showing up. And dude, I mean, he's definitely not the youngest guy in the group.
Yeah.
And he's been having these awesome matches with these young guys in comp class and really pushing himself. And I think he's hitting a new stride. I think it's awesome to see all the techniques that he's adding, and another guy that's asking really good questions and talks about the techniques that he wants to learn and implement, asks me about it, helps me become a better coach. Adam also has, good wrestling experience, a little bit of wrestling experience in the past. He's going to be able to have that in his arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Adam is investing in, his bottom game a little bit right now, which is awesome. I mean, we're doing a lot of guard work for our curriculum right now. But I do think that Adam can just make it a grueling match from start to finish without exhausting himself.
Yeah.
I think the key to victory here is get heavy on the head, pressure these people, be in their face, and again, don't let them settle. I mean, what we were seeing in the last comp class, it was awesome. I mean, it felt like a whole new Adam. I mean, he was just going after it with Leno and just going after it with these guys, and looked great and was listening really well. Positionally, he looks strong right now, and he's only getting better. So, yeah, for Adam as well, just being heavy on the head, being that constant forward pressure, and then when we get the fight to the ground, slowing it down, being heavy, and slowly working into our side control or our knee slice, and then just looking to submit from there. And if not, we're just going to cook them, as they say.
Yeah.
Cook them. So I'm super excited that guy's competing. I'm glad he waited because he's looking awesome right now. So, yeah, that's he's going to be one of our only Masters. I think he's in Masters 1, which is awesome.
How old is he?
He's in his 30s. I don't know his exact age. I could look it up.
Well, okay. So what is the Masters age group? Like how old
Masters 1 is 30 to 39.
Okay, so it's a pretty big gap there. And then is there a Masters 2 at like 40 plus?
Yeah. There's I think it goes all the way up to Masters 4 or 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, moving on. We've got Leno. Now, Leno wasn't gonna compete, but I told him he's got to because he's
you fired.
he's doing MMA right now with Laird and Julian and I and Chris, and I think he's such a dog. He's just got to compete. He's crazy athletic, knows how to put the pressure on, bring that forward pace. I'm really excited for him to compete. I think he's competing. I think he's competing gi or no gi. Either way, he's going to bring the pace. He's from his MMA experience. He understands how to not get scored on because we never allow ourselves to settle. Like if we get taken down, we're immediately up.
Right.
And if we take someone down, we understand that they immediately want to get up. So then we're solidifying those positions. We're being as heavy as we can be. We're throwing our hooks in. We're riding them out. We're off balancing constantly. So I think he's going to bring a lot of that MMA experience that he's gaining into these matches and just treat it like a fight. Just take this person down, be heavy on them, get heavy on their head, and simplify it. Don't make it anything more than it needs to be. Just take the person down and look for the submission if it's there. If not, ride them out, pass their guard, be heavy on top, and win dominantly with control. I think that's what he's going to do.
All right.
Done. Let's talk about our boy, Jules. the last guy on the roster, our heavyweight, even though he's not actually heavyweight. He's in 185 to 200. I'm not even worried about Jules.
No. He has a good time. He enjoys this stuff. He really likes doing it. I'm sure there's butterflies, but at the same time, like it seems to be what he lives for. He just loves that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, Julian is here every day, twice a day, training in the morning, training in the evening, looking for extra opportunities to train. This guy wants to make martial arts his livelihood. He wants it to be his life, and that's exactly what he's doing. And I'm super proud of all of the work that he puts in. I love his mentality. It's very similar to Laird and I in the sense that we just choose to never get tired, choose to push the fight forward, even though, and I would never admit this to anyone other than on the podcast, but I do get
other
tired.
Than to everybody.
I do get tired.
What?
No, yeah, but I just tell everyone I don't.
Heresy.
Yeah, so yeah, it's funny, during our break I was watching this this short miniature boxing documentary on Joe Frazier and then also Rocky Marciano, and the narrator was talking about how they just had an ability to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what set them apart from a lot of the boxers of that era. They had an ability to suffer and really put themselves through hell. And I think that Julian has that ability, similar to how Laird and I came up in martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and MMA. Just, we know that we can suffer more. We know that we can suffer more than a lot of people. And I think Julian embraces that.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be one of those compounding effects where he just embraces the suck even more and more, to the point where it's just one of his greatest weapons. When the fight gets into deep waters, he'll be able to thrive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you've said this over and over. He's got the mental game. He's already got that. He has tenacity, but he also executes movements with virtuosity. Like he moves really well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the complete package,
Yeah.
because some guys are just like, they got the dog, they'll work hard, but maybe they're not very talented.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're very talented, but they don't have a good work ethic.
Yeah.
But he kind of has all of it. So
He's very coachable.
yeah.
Very coachable.
Yeah.
Almost everyone on the roster here is very coachable, but
Almost everybody.
yeah.
We're not going to say who's not.
I'm not going to say who, but you know who you are. So I think we've got an incredible lineup, and we're missing some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
We're missing the Carlsons. They're not in it. That's okay. Who else are we missing?
Well, I'm not going to be there. I mean, I'll be there, but I'm not going to be competing. And I know
Right.
that like really hurts your heart, but
Only a little bit, but you'll come around. I kind of feel like you're going to be training for 4 to 5 years and get to that point where you're beating most everyone that isn't supposed to beat you.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, purple, brown, black belts, a lot of these guys should beat you.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to get to the point where you're probably just beating a lot of guys and you're like, I guess I'll try a competition. I don't know.
Maybe I'll just throw my hat in the ring, whatever.
Yeah. I'm kind of waiting for that. So,
Yeah. Let's see who else though.
no, I think that's it. Oh, in terms of
No, that's not going to be there. That is. I mean, Adrian, he's not going to be there, right?
yeah, I guess Adrian's not going to be there. Yeah, we already talked about Claire. She's injured. She would have been awesome. I mean,
Chris isn't going to be there.
yeah, a lot of the people that come here regularly that have expressed that they wanted to compete, they could do really well. I'm trying to think of who wrote their name on the board that wanted to compete. Obviously, there's a lot of people in here that I would love to have compete.
Right.
But I'm thinking of who wrote their name on the board that isn't going to be competing, or that wanted to compete but now isn't going to be competing. And Owen was one of those guys. I don't think Jake's name was on the board, but I think he wanted to compete. But
you know who I think would do pretty well once he's got more time to train a little bit more often is Monty. I think he would do pretty well.
Oh, yeah. Monty would do great.
But he is really focused on education right now. He's trying to finishing up his nursing degree. So
Yeah. For as busy as that guy is, he trains.
it's pretty consistent.
Yeah, very consistently. And
Nate's not competing.
Yeah, Nate could definitely compete. We'll get Nate in there.
Yeah.
You get Nate in there for sure.
He
And
can't
Monty.
he can't escape your clutches forever.
No. Yeah. No, we have a solid team going out this weekend. It is comp week, and I love comp week. I just love it. I love competition day. I think as a coach, it's so fun. It reminds me of being in high school and riding out to a competition with the team.
Mm-hmm.
You go weigh in, you go have breakfast. It's the camaraderie is amazing. The family atmosphere, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think, God, we have such a good crew. Whether you're competing or not, there's going to be so much support.
Yeah, I'm bringing my RV. So
yeah, this guy's bringing his RV
and my Blackstone griddle. So we'll be cooking food up.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a party.
Yeah, we're gonna take over the parking lot.
That's right.
Yeah, we're gonna claim. Allground is gonna claim the parking lot. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited. I'm super proud of everyone's preparation because ultimately the fights are won in the preparation.
Yeah.
And everybody has been preparing diligently. And for an amateur event, a lot of white belts and blue belts, they've treated themselves like professionals here in Allground. And that makes me very proud as a coach. So looking forward to it.
All right. Well, the next episode we'll have the recap of how it all went.
Yeah, the
it's recap. Be exciting. And
yeah.
maybe, I don't know, maybe Laird will have more to say in that episode. Maybe not. I don't know. He's a man of few words.
Right. A man of little to no words. So any final thoughts on the matter, Laird? Dude.
Well said.
Yeah, that was so sick. He's taking the less is more approach, and it's really fucking badass.
Yeah. God, that guy's tough.
Yeah. That guy is
brilliant.
Badass. Welcome to the Allground Pod.